Today we will be going over dashboard management, lead nurturing, and common best practices and tools. Starting off on the agent dashboard, the first thing that you may see is the daily completion score. Now this is the completion rate of any pending items for the property or agent for the past day. If you have yourself selected as an agent in the top right-hand corner, you will only be seeing tasks that are assigned to you. If you are wanting to see tasks that are assigned to the entire community, make sure you remove yourself from the agent and it will reload every pending task that is available for that community. At the moment, we do not have a set KPI for this daily completion score. So no worries if you are not able to get it to 100% at the end of the day. We will later inform you on what this KPI should be, so just make sure you are prioritizing getting as many tasks completed as you can in a day. Another helpful tool on your dashboard is the prorate calculator. It will be at the top of your dashboard, and this is where you are able to prorate move-in and move-out costs. This tool is really helpful and important so that we are being transparent with our prospects and residents on what might be owed on the day of move-in or move-out. Another important tool will be your calendar. On the calendar, you are able to filter by event type if you would like, or if you leave it unselected, it will show you all of the different events that are scheduled for the week. If you would like an expanded view, make sure to click this toggle button. If you want to see an even larger view of the calendar, go to the top of the dashboard and you can filter by day, week, or month, as well as agent and event type. You can also add a new appointment right from the dashboard, whether you are in the large calendar, or if you are on the main dashboard, you are able to click Add New, and from one screen, you are able to add this appointment, whether it's for your prospects or residents. This is helpful because if you are emailing or text messaging someone on the communication hub or answering phone calls, you do not need to go into a separate screen to schedule an appointment. Now, moving on to some key areas that you should be keeping an eye out throughout the day is your new leads and conversations. This is extremely important to make sure we are maintaining these two tabs so that no new leads and no new conversations are being missed. You will also want to ensure that your follow-ups are being completed for the day, as well as updating any tour results that may be needing to be added to the system. An important section is this prospects without active follow-up section. It is important that all prospects have active follow-up scheduled in the system, because if they do not, then lead nurturing will take over. Lead nurturing is when our system will automatically communicate via email with a prospect who we've either marked inactive or who is no longer engaging with us after 14 days. So let's clarify a little bit further about lead nurturing. When working with a prospect, we can have the system either automatically mark the prospect inactive, or we can manually mark the prospect inactive ourselves. The system will automatically mark a prospect inactive if we have not communicated with us via phone call, email, or text message, or even in person within 14 days. That time limit may change just depending on community needs. When a prospect is in inactive status, whether the system has automatically marked them as such, or if we have gone into the system and marked them as inactive, lead nurturing will start. Lead nurturing will email the prospect over a certain period of time, and if the prospect has not responded to any of those lead nurturing contact attempts, the system will prompt us to review if the guest is ready for cancellation. If the guest is ready for cancellation, go up to the three dots and click Cancel. Make sure you select a category that best fits the prospect's cancellation, whether that's income, rent too high, or no response. When you are canceling a guest, it is required that you provide insights as to why we are canceling the guest. In this example, let's say I have made my follow-up attempts and lead nurturing has made their attempts as well. I want to make sure that I'm dismissing future appointments as well as dismissing future follow-ups. Then I will click Save. If you need to reactivate a prospect, you do so by going back up to the action items and clicking Reactivate. Now let's review a few examples on when lead nurturing may automatically trigger or when we can manually trigger lead nurturing. Lead nurturing, like I said, will automatically trigger if the prospect has not communicated with us after 14 days and we do not have a follow-up scheduled in the system. We can also manually trigger lead nurturing by going to the prospect's profile and marking them inactive. If we do not have any follow-up scheduled, lead nurturing will kick in. As you can see, when we go to mark a prospect inactive, we need to provide a reason for that lead nurturing can start its process. We should not be marking prospects inactive until we have made at least 4 follow-up attempts or at least 30 days worth of attempts to get the prospect engaged. For this example, I will say I attempted to contact this prospect for 60 days. Since I did not get a response, I'm going to click yes and continue so that lead nurturing can start activating. Once we have marked the prospect inactive, it will be important that I remove any manual scheduled follow-ups that are not necessary at this time. Another example that you may run into is that a prospect is not moving for quite a bit of time, let's say 6+ months, and we do not want them to just sit in our dashboard. What we can do is we can go in and mark the prospect as inactive, provide the reasoning such as moving in 6 months. We'll click yes, continue, and that will change the status over to inactive. Before I move on to the next screen, I want to make sure that I go into activities and I'm adding a future follow-up in the time frame that best fits the prospect's move-in date. If I do not schedule a follow-up, lead nurturing will start to communicate with the prospect. And this may make the prospect feel dismissed or unheard because they clearly communicated that they were not interested at the moment. So if I want to preserve the relationship that I am building with the prospect, but I don't want it to be a focus on my dashboard, I need to mark the prospect inactive and immediately schedule a follow-up for a future date. Then, when the follow-up time comes, I'll be able to mark the prospect active again and continue building that relationship and hopefully engaging with the prospect to lease. Now, hopefully this helps explain why it is really important that we are focusing on completing our follow-ups in a timely manner and ensuring that prospects with no follow-ups is completely at 0, or it only contains prospects that are ready to be marked inactive by the system or manually. Thank you so much for watching.